It feels sometimes that no sooner than the race season is over that we're straight into the next one. I mean, as runners and triathletes, we tend to be quite a driven bunch. We'll go from race to race and we're constantly aiming for something. Not only that, with the events selling out more and more quickly every year, you've got to get your skates on and get all the races that you're planning on doing entered as quickly as you can. Now sadly, this is where a lot of athletes come unstuck. You won't be able to go from week to week and still get the best performance out of yourself. To be successful, it's going to take a little bit more thought. Now, like many of you, I've had to learn this the hard way, and I take quite a bit more time over this these days. This is even more important now here in South Wales because of Ironman Wales. Really speaking though, this applies to any races from 5k to a marathon or triathlon to Ironman. So let's take a closer look at this using Ironman Wales as the example. This is the sort of race schedule I've heard people saying they're planning on following. We've got Ironman Wales in September, and here we have the Bala Middle Distance, a 50-mile time trial, the Mumbles and Broadhaven triathlons all in June. You've got the long course weekend and Ironman UK in July. There's the middle distance triathlon in Fishguard, followed by a sprint triathlon and the St Clair's 10k. And then in September is the Llanelli Standard Triathlon and then the Ironman. I mean, this is just way too ambitious, especially if you intend to do well at all of them, because you just can't keep going and going and going. At some stage you need to recover, and in many cases you need time to train your weaknesses. I mean, what if you do the Bala Middle Distance and find that you're not quite where you want to be at cycling or running uphill? What if your stamina towards the end of the bike wasn't good enough? If you're racing every week for the next 4 weekends, when are you actually giving yourself a chance to work on it? You certainly can't do it in the weeks in between. It will take you a good amount of time to get over these races, and just as you start to recover, you've got to wind down for your next event. Now, this is a much better approach coming up right now. You need to prioritise your races and targets and ask yourself, what do you actually want to achieve? If your goal is to simply finish, then you don't need to worry about doing any races in the build-up at all. Training should be enough. If your goal, however, is to improve or to be competitive, then you're going to need to use the ABC principle to plan your races. Now, in a nutshell, A races are important, B races are worthwhile, and C races are purely for fun. Now, the A races are the events you want to do well at, and everything you do in training and with other races is building towards that. The B races come next, and these are events where you can try things such as your nutrition strategy, or perhaps a pacing strategy, or anything like that. You'd like to do well for your confidence, but it's not vital. Now, your C races are your just for fun races. Now, it could be a local 10k that you like, it could be a charity event, or it could be anything really. They help to build your fitness, they'll keep your motivation up, and they give you a chance to gauge where you're at and what you need to work on. Don't worry too much about what happens in these races, and don't put yourself under too much pressure either. Remember though to plan for breaks between your races. If you do find that your strength uphill isn't what you want it to be, then you'll need to dedicate some time to working on it, and you can't do that if you're racing every week. You also need time to recover from racing, and this is especially true after the longer or tougher events. It can take a few weeks to properly get over an event, and there are no real shortcuts to it other than to take the time and let yourself recover. So let's go back to the schedule from earlier on, and this is a much smarter way to plan the race season. You've still got some good challenging races in there, but you've got plenty of time off in between to recover and train, with a few weeks here, here, here and here. Everything is building up to the Ironman, which would be the A race, with enough B races to help build your confidence. And that's it for this episode. I hope you found it useful, and I hope that I've convinced you that with a bit of thought and planning, you can put together a plan for next season that will really work for you.